Hello and welcome to the NDTV Dialogues. And this week I have an 18-year-old join me, somebody who's just got great results and is now looking for college admissions. But she's also happened to have won a Nobel Prize for Peace and an inspiration to millions around the world. Malala, thank you very much for being on the Dialogues. Malala, as we talk, and of course, just over a year ago, you won a Nobel Peace Prize with an Indian, Kailash Satyarthi. But as I interview you, in India, there are many who now say Pakistanis shouldn't come to India. We've had black paint thrown on people who've come. But that group says if one Pakistani can come to India, that's Malala, because she is a symbol of peace. What do you feel about that and this increasing tension sometimes between the two countries and people?
Well, it's tragic what has happened and what's happening right now, that there is intolerance in society and people are not respecting each other. But if we want both the countries to go forward, it is important that we respect each other and we work together. And this is what we need right now: tolerance, friendship, love for each other. And this is the way that we can go forward. So I'm hopeful that we will see peace between the two countries, and it has been my dream. And when I received the Peace Prize together with Kailash Satyarthi, I was honored that I received it with him together, and it was. And he has so much ambition to have good relationships between Pakistan and India. So meeting him was amazing, and there was no difference. Just two people from different countries. It should not really stop you from becoming friends or living together or connecting together. Even though we are from different countries, but that does not mean that we can't exist together.
Of course, and we've seen the story of Geeta, an Indian girl who's been looked after by a Pakistani family and coming back to India. Do stories like these encourage you?
Definitely, we have heard many stories, and India has always been welcoming to Pakistan. And if there are singers or actors, they have been welcomed in India. So it's a great honor. The love I have received myself in India, the letters I have received, and I received one letter from a girl from India, and she wrote to me that one day she will become a prime minister because she heard me that I wanted to be a prime minister. And when she grows up, she will become the prime minister of India. And when I become the prime minister of Pakistan, we will work together to make the relationships of Pakistan and India better. So I have received lots of letters and cards and a lot of support from India, and for which I'm very thankful.
Well, that's a wonderful dream we'd look forward to. And of course, one other thing that unites India and Pakistan is Indians love Pakistani serials and Pakistanis love Hindi movies. And so do you have any favorites? Because after all, you're an 18-year-old girl. I know that you used to like to listen to Justin Bieber's songs, but do you have any favorite Indian stars, Indian movies?
Well, I have always watched Indian movies, and I love the music and the action and the drama and everything. And well, of course, Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Amir Khan, they are like the top actors and top stars. And as well as the female stars, Kajol and everyone. And we just love India. We love India.
It's hard to remember that you're actually just 18 and a normal girl who's looking at the colleges right now. And when I say normal, I mean, in the documentary, you talked about the fact that why it would be difficult for you to have a boyfriend, or in a sense, your family values are still very conservative, as many are in India and Pakistan. Do you find that difficult adjusting to a society like this? What do you say when people say that Islam perhaps is a religion which gives women an inferior status and keeps women in a certain way? Do you sometimes feel that you should rebel like any 18-year-old girl would?
Well, in terms of Islam, there is equality and women have equal rights. But there is the influence of culture as well. And in many cultures, women are kept inferior. And this has been happening for years in almost in every culture. But there has been change usually in many of the countries in the West. But that change hasn't really come in many countries yet, especially in the developing countries. So maybe it will take time, but we need to introduce these ideas and introduce the ideas of equality to society, change education system, change the way we portray the image of women through media. And this is how people's brain is going to change. Otherwise, it's really hard to challenge that old mindset that women are inferior. So we need more young women to come forward. We need men as well to come forward and participate in it, that we see equality.
Like your father.
Yes.
So no rebellion on your side. What does Malala do when she's naughty? Or when does your father and mother ever scold you?
Yeah, almost every day, because I am not really good in eating healthy food, and they tell me to eat healthy food, fruits, and everything, and I just don't like eating a lot. I don't drink enough water, and they tell me to drink water. So yeah, shout at me every day.
Thanks so much, Malala. It's great having you on the Dialogues with us. Also with us on the NDTV Dialogues, we're talking, of course, about the documentary He Name Malala. Who is the man who made Malala the young girl she is today? Joining me now is her father, Ziauddin Yousafzai. Yousafzai Saab, thank you very much for being on the NDTV Dialogues.
Thank you. Shukriya.
In the documentary, we see very much Malala is the heroine of that, but there is a hero, a quiet hero, and that is you. Because I think for a South Asian father, for a Pakistani father in a conservative society, how did you make Malala so different? How did you believe that you could do this?
Thank you very much. I mean, this is just a change in mindset. It's not a rocket science. It's not a difficult thing. It's a simple thing. Simple if a father wants to bring this change in himself. A brother wants to bring that change in himself. And I mean, this documentary, it's not only a movie, it's a moment. And it tells fathers all over the world that we should not clip the wings of our daughters. We should believe in their wisdom. We should believe in their potentials. And we should provide them every opportunity to get quality education, full education. And that's how that approach turned Malala into a different girl.
Because it's interesting, because in the documentary and in the book as well, it talks of how your daughter Malala only began writing that because the other father didn't want his daughter to write a diary for the BBC. He was scared about the threat. And even when Malala was shot, you felt the guilt because you said, why did I let her do this? It was my fault. Did you ever regret at that time the path you had chosen, that perhaps you should not have pushed Malala ahead?
I think if you blame me that I have pushed her, I mean, it's very clear. It's very clear from the documentary when she says that he named me Malala, he didn't make me Malala. And that's very much important. I mean, you can inspire a child. You can't construct it. It's not in engineering. I mean, this parenthood, we are doing parenthood since centuries. And when a parent is controlling or he is just pushing somebody, I mean, you can't make a child into a full-fledged, well-groomed personality. I mean, if Malala had any pressure from me or any pushing from me, she would have never been so poised. Otherwise, she would have stopped after being attacked. But till this day, I have, as a father, or in my family, anybody, we haven't heard a single word from her that she is repenting, that why she has lost hearing on her left ear, why her facial nerve was cut down and she got her left face paralyzed for some time, and why she had this severe trauma in her life. Because what she did, she believed in that. The only fault which you say is my fault or my credit, whatever you call it, that I was an inspiration for her because I stood for the rights of girls and women and children in the Swat Valley when education was banned for girls. When more than 400 schools were bombed, I had to stand. So that very environment made her so. And I think that it's very clear from the documentary.
Does it depress you now? Because even now, while Malala has become a world inspiration, your story has become an inspiration, we've seen that what's happening in Pakistan, in the Swat Valley, hasn't changed very much at all. And even in South Asia, whether it's in India, whether it's in Pakistan and other countries, we know of the missing daughters, we know of the fact that people practice female feticide so that they have boys rather than girls. Does it depress you that perhaps your message, Malala's message, hasn't reached the millions of South Asia?
I hope that it will reach one day to every South Asian people, citizens, and what is happening in Pakistan and India, especially women, that violence against women and girls, rape cases in India, and many problems in Pakistan. Girls, for example, 25 million girls 25 million children from age 5 to age 16 are out of schools, and 13.5 million, according to Elan, they are girls. So many girls are out of school. We really, the governments and the communities really need to focus on girls' education. And but I hope that one day our message, and this is not only us. There are many educational campaigners in Pakistan and India. They are brilliant people and they are working hard every day. And ultimately, we will be successful because we are on the right path. And our message is very powerful, and it is for the benefit of everybody.
You talked, of course, that we saw the Nobel Prize both to Malala and to Kailash Satyarthi ji. But right now, the distance between India and Pakistan seems to be even greater than ever before. What would you say? Are you optimistic when you see the governments argue, or when talks are called off, or when black paint is thrown on a person's face for inviting a Pakistani? But yet the Shiv Sena says we would like Malala to come to India because she is a true ambassador of peace. What do you feel when you hear this?
Yeah, it's really disappointing and depressing because between the state authorities or between the governments of the two countries, the state to state relationship has always been very tough, and we have rarely seen good days in our history. But these people to people contact was getting stronger. And it is very unfortunate that, India was famous that it encourages art, it encourages music. And when a musician wants to have his concert like Ghulam Ali Khan in India, and he faces coercion. And when our foreign secretary, he wants to launch his book, and he faces protest and coercion. And then even cricket, cricket is something, it's the spirit of South Asian people's life. People on both sides, they love cricket. So it is not cricket even to sabotage cricket. Yes. It's very unfair. So I think that the organizations, I will not name them, not necessary to name them, who are not supportive to these cultural activities. How can they claim that they want peace in that region? I must tell that music, art, literature, and sports, they must be above politics. And this is how that the people of Pakistan and India will come close to each other. And this is how the people contact, the bond among the people will put pressure on their governments to come to the table of talks and have peace in that region, which will benefit the more than billion population on both sides. So that's very much important.
No, your daughter has said that she would like to be Prime Minister of Pakistan one day. Does that worry you? Because when you see the history in the region, you saw the Benazir Bhutto and what happened to her, again, a woman who had many hopes. Do you see your daughter's future ever back in Pakistan, your future? Because in a sense, you all are in exile virtually now.
You see, we always hope for good. And we see that after the Peshawar attack on the Peshawar massacre of the boys and teachers, which was, the worst incident which could happen by the terrorists in Pakistan. After that, we see big changes in Pakistan. And the militants, they are on the back foot. And we hope that one day, this dragon, which has become so big in Pakistan, we would be able to eliminate it, and we will be able to defeat terrorism. But the most important thing to defeat it is education. And especially girls' education. Because if half of the population in India and Pakistan, if they are not given the right of education, and we always talk of basic education, world leaders always talk of basic education, and I tell them that when even in Swat, when Taliban banned girls' education completely, And civil society leaders negotiated with them that this is horrible for you as well, because people will stand against you if ban girls' education completely. Even they allowed girls to get primary education. And now the world leaders say, okay, primary education is okay for the developing countries, girls and boys. I say it's not enough. The real education, the real change that is brought in communities and that will bring change in girls' life, that is secondary education, higher secondary education, because it gives them wings. This education gives them dreams, and it empowers them to question the existing norms and traditions. So that is why, if we focus on 12 years free and safe education for girls and boys, I think ultimately these two countries, Pakistan and India, we would be able to learn how to coexist with all our diversities, with all our difference in faiths. And we personally, we suffered because of extremism. We suffered because of militancy and terrorism. And we are really we are really feeling depressed, and we are sad when we see extremism, if they are in Hinduism faith, or is from Buddhist, or from Christianity. So extremism is bad. It is unacceptable. It is harmful for all communities, for all countries, and it should be stopped.
And finally, Yousafzai Saab, it seems when you watch that perhaps Malala, every parent may have a favorite child. I think Malala may seem to be a bit your favorite child. What happens when she has wings to fly? Suppose tomorrow she decides that she wants to choose to marry of her choice, or she wants to be perhaps not exactly follow what your dreams may be for her. Will Malala be given that independence to perhaps fly, to go to which college she chooses, to perhaps marry who she wants?
I think I must make it clear that what Malala has made so powerful, courageous, poised, and independent, our relationship is not based on controlling. I don't control her. I encourage her. I appreciate her talent, her potentials. That is how she is so bright. So I will be happy. The more I see her independent, the happier I am. The more she challenges me, the happier I am. The more she will be free in her decision and stronger, the most happy I'll be. Because, as parent, as father, I always tell that a good father is the one who makes his children independent and to stand on their own feet as soon as possible. So this is my dream. The sooner she is independent, as she is, because now she's 18, the happier I'll be.
Yousafzai Saab, I think from your words, I hope is listened to by millions across South Asia.
Thank you.
I can see where Malala gets it from. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.